Well, greetings and salutations everyone. My name is Henry and today I'm going to be helping you answer a question a lot of people have when they're buying the hammocks. What is the best hanging distance for my hammock if I'm not using a stand, or what is the recommended hanging height? So I'm going to show you the difference between non-spreader bar and spreader bar hammock like the one I've got here, hanging distances and height. And I'm also going to show at the end, if you're attaching a hammock to a wall or a post, about also little tips and tricks to help you with that as well. So everyone, before I show you now the difference of hanging height and distance for spread bar and non-spread bar hammocks, I just want to talk to you about something. So, obviously for the purpose of this video, I'm using some single hammocks, which is our Tahiti hammock, Tahiti Candy, but we've also got the spread bar version, which is the Tonga Candy, just to let you be aware. Now, obviously I'm doing a distance here recommended for this hammock only, but obviously every different hammock has a slightly different length, okay? So remember that when we go to the next part here, because what I'm going to say is a generalizational rule about hanging distances and height. So depending on what hammock you've got, there will be some slight variations. Now, with that being said, let's get into talking about this one. So everyone, now we're going to look at a non-spreader bar hammock. Now I want to use non-spreader bar first because it's a great contrast to the spreader bar, which is going to come after this. So if you look at this space here, when it comes to a non-spreader bar hammock, what you're wanting is full length minus roughly 30 centimeters. Now what we mean by that is because unlike a spreader bar hammock where the hammock will more keep its shape, this one will very much U shape, okay? When you go in, it's going to create that U. That means you need a bit of extra, less space than what the full hammock is, plus you need a bit more distance from the ground here, so when you do get in, you're not literally sitting on the floor. Okay, it's an important thing to remember. I'm sure many of us who buy a hammock do not want to be sitting on the floor in a hammock. So remember that for non-spreader bar hammocks, you want the full length minus roughly 30 centimeters, but you also want it a bit higher in comparison to the spreader bar hammock, which I'll show you in a minute. So you have a bit more distance from the floor, so when you do get in, you're not sitting on the floor. So everyone, when it comes to a spreader bar hammock's hanging distance, you're going to need a bit more space than what you would need for a non-spreader bar hammock. Now the reason is, as you know, spreader bar hammock's got the wooden posts at each side here that keep it open, so that means you need a bit longer distance than the normal hammock full length, but also because it's now more a bit rigid, you don't need as much space underneath here in comparison to the non-spreader hammock, because remember the non-spreader bar hammock, that really much U-shapes here, so you go down a bit more. This normally keeps its shape a bit more in comparison. So when you're buying a spreader bar hammock, think about this in mind, that whatever the full length of the hammock is, you need a bit longer distance than normal, but on the plus side, you can make it potentially a bit lower in comparison to a non-spreader bar hammock. So adding on to talking about the perfect hanging height for the hammock, you'll notice on the back of the labels here for these products that they have got diagrams that show the recommended hanging height from the ground up to where we feel the hammock should be. This is the same on all Amazonas products. It does differentiate between single, double and family and spreader bar and non-spreader bar, but you can always find it there for a reference, and it's also on the websites where Amazonas products are sold. Okay, so while I put this hammock away, in a moment, what I'm going to do is I'm going to transition to a place where I'm going to show you if you're hanging your hammock between, let's say, a wooden post or a wall, some little tips and tricks for that. But I just want to add here a quick little thing for you, everyone. When you are setting up your hammock, remember, what you're trying to achieve is the perfect sitting height. You want it in a place where you can just sit down in your hammock and get in and lie and relax. That's what we're aiming for with this. So now I've just got that out of the way, we're going to move on to a next bit where I'm going to discuss about posts and walls when it comes to attaching hammock, and a little trick we have. Okay everyone, thank you for joining me now again in the Amazonas garden. So, as I mentioned, I wanted to give a little tip and some advice about if you're hanging your hammock from, say, a wall or a post to maybe a tree or another post, just a little thing we'd like to recommend. So, let's just imagine my hand here is the Easy Plus hammock fixing. For those that know, it's on the screen right now, just in the corner. Let's just say we've attached our hammock to there, okay? So, what we recommend doing is don't put the second Easy Plus or Smart Rope if you're using it against a tree in just now. Get a friend or someone in your family to go grab the hammock and then say, can you hold the other side of this please? Yeah. And we can hang it up and go, right, okay, yeah, it's about the right height. Yeah, we might lower it a bit or something. Yep, we're gonna make it like that, okay? That way you can be doubly sure when you do get in it, you know it's at the right height and you're happy with it. So everyone, just before we end this video, one last extra tip. Before you even buy a hammock or your fixings, if you want to just get a rough idea, get some rope. Here we have got some micro ropes, which is a bit of product placement for our micro rope options right here. Either get someone to hold it here like we did with the hammock previously and measure out the distance of your hammock to get an idea in advance before finding which hammock you want to buy. So there everyone, that is a video there on talking about hammock lengths and height, and also a few little tips about pre-buying a hammock or after you buy the hammock to make sure you get the perfect height and length. Thank you very much for watching.